How's everybody doing? Hope you're having a great day. I have another dream that I want to share. It's a dream I had last night, and I'm trying my best to share this stuff. I know the Lord wants me to share it, and I'm getting a lot of dreams, and when I share them publicly, the Lord's giving me more. So I'm trying my best to be faithful with this stuff, and I also want to encourage you to be willing to share your dreams more. Obviously, do it in wisdom. Feel and okay from the Lord, but um, just a quick little nugget. A lot of times people use that story of Joseph sharing his dream as a warning not to share dreams, and it's I mean, there is context for that, right? And that doesn't mean we don't share dreams. That just means you need to be wise, and you need to be careful who you share personal calling dreams, and be wise who you share stuff with when you share it. But that doesn't mean that we're not supposed to share things, because we need to share stuff. We need to share stuff more, and when we're faithful with what the Lord's given us, He will give us more. So this dream that I had last night, it was about the sex trafficking slave trade, and I, this is such a heavy topic, right? And I feel like this is a topic that we're almost numb to, because it's been brought up so much over the last couple years. And I feel like this dream that I had last night and me sharing this is just an encouragement to not stop praying, because it's still going on. There are still people that are trapped in this, right? And this is not something that we enjoy talking about. It's not something we want to talk about. And it's really been something that has been trumpeted over the last couple years, and in some ways blown to an extreme. And we want to know what the Lord really is saying on this issue, right? So I'll get into the dream. And I'm not going to share every detail, because there's a little bit of graphic stuff. Nothing inappropriate, but just maybe not something I should share here. So in the dream, and I have not been thinking about this. I haven't been thinking about this stuff. I mean, a few weeks ago I probably did, but this did not come from me thinking about this. In the dream, I am with a person, and I'm in some kind of meeting somewhere, and I didn't have a ride home, and it wasn't a place that I was familiar with in my real life. And here I am leaving this event, and there's a couple, and the couple seemed cool. We're just started having a conversation, and they could tell that I was walking somewhere, and they had a car, and they're like, hey, we have a car, if you need a ride, why don't you hop in with us? So I was like, okay, no problem. So I get in with them. Everything seemed cool. We were just cutting it up, talking about interesting things. Next scene, I am trapped in this cage. They put me in a cage. They tricked me to get into a cage, this weird looking cage. And next thing I know, I'm hung up in their living room, looking down on their living room. And I'm freaking out, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, how did this happen? Well, I knew that they had captured me for profit. And somehow I broke the roof off of this cage, and it fell down into their living room, and I managed to escape. Then the scene changed to where I was in this Middle Eastern environment, and Middle Eastern governmental, military, police kind of people had captured me. And they captured me because people higher up in the government, and I don't remember any specific nation, but it kind of felt like Iran, that area. And I knew that their leaders basically tasked them to procure people to be sex slaves. And I'm like a guy, right? And I'm thinking, this is so weird, this is crazy. And they captured me, and there's other people there, and I'm trying to show them that I'm a man. And like, I'm trying to say or do whatever I can to make them repulsed by me, or just not find me sexually attractive, because I'm just like, it's so bizarre, right? And I do know that in the dream I could tell that I was kind of somebody else, like I was experiencing someone else's experience, but I was also myself at the same time. It wasn't like I was 100% somebody else and then woke up from the dream and was like, oh wow, I experienced this other experience. No, I was consciously me, but I was also experiencing something that I knew other people were going through. It's kind of weird. But I had to be like taken around to these government leaders, and I didn't see them, but I knew that they were waiting on me, and they were going to like check me out, and they just had this gnarly, inappropriate sexual appetite. It didn't matter that I was a man. It didn't matter, that I wasn't a young girl. Anything normal that a man would be attracted to, I guess. And so I remember somehow escaping again, but then as I escaped, I helped some other people escape at the same time, and somehow I was out in the streets, and I knew that so many people out on the streets were under the control of the government, and they were going to try to find me. So then I went and found this building that was like a U.S. government building, almost like an embassy building, but it wasn't the U.S. embassy. It was more like some kind of negotiation place. I mean, it really would be like an embassy, but in the dream I don't remember seeing the flag, the United States flag or anything. But it was some connection to the U.S. government. And I remember they saw me coming to the building, and they closed the doors. And I knew the reason why they closed the doors was because they didn't want my situation, or the situation of people like me, to interfere with their political process between the United States and this Middle Eastern government. And I was just like, I couldn't believe it, right? Then somehow I found a janitor door, or I found some side door, and was able to get into the building through the side door. And I find my way in there, and there's all these people in there at their desks, and I see these offices, and it's like a circular, actually it was more like a rectangle inside. And I was hiding in there because I knew that they didn't want to be involved, but it was my only place that I knew that maybe I could be protected. So as I'm there, somebody sees me, and they're like, well, okay, if you can maintain being hidden, then we won't expose you. Because they knew that the government leaders of that nation that they were kind of under the control of were going to come into that building and look for me. So they came, and as I'm in the building, I'm having to move around behind desks and chairs so that as they searched for me, I wasn't where they had searched. I was just trying to keep on moving so they couldn't find me. And that was pretty much the end of the dream. And it was all about slave trade for high up government leaders in the Middle East. That was really the main deal of this dream. And here I am experiencing this, and knowing that there was more people going through that over there, trapped in the situation, and trapped in a situation where the people that were connected to the United States didn't want anything to do with it, because they didn't want to stir up any drama that they were trying to, work with that nation. And here I was, and other people like me, trapped in the middle of this political situation. And after I woke up, I couldn't help but to think about Afghanistan and what's going on over there right now. But I don't want to go on and on about this, and I don't want to kick this horse about sex trafficking, but I do want to say, look, it's on the Lord's heart, and I just know that He shared that dream with me so that I would keep on praying, because there are people right now trapped in that similar kind of situation, and the Lord's heart is for them. And we just pray and declare a breakdown of the cages and the controls, and we pray for deliverance, and that people would find ways of escape. We declare ways of escape for people in this situation, and I pray that the fear of the Lord, of the true living God, would fall on these leaders over there, where they would know that there's extreme judgment for people that have anything to do with anything like that. And I pray that our government would not play politics with this kind of stuff, that true justice over people that are trapped in the sex trafficking industry, and that there would be true justice and liberation of these people. So, not to go on and on and on more and more and more, but like I said, this is something that has come to the forefront over the last few years. Our ears are relatively numb to it now, but keep on praying. The Lord is still jealous and desiring for the church to pray and for these people to be set free. All right. Love you guys. Blessings. I just pray that God would pour out His spirit of revelation on you and people at your church and your friends and family, and that you would talk about your dreams. And again, if you have any kind of dream that you've had recently, whether you know what it is or you don't, feel free to share it with me. Personal message me, and I'd love to share it, or at least just see what God's saying to people, because it's the body of Christ, right? It's not just one person speaking. Blessings. I will see you soon.